can quote my father saying, "Only idiots go to university, Trevor." There's no way that working class kid, from the mid '80s could be giving a briefing at Brussels on network separation. How is that plannable?
He was told nobody in his family goes to university. He went. He was told his school didn't teach computer science to a 14-year-old. They put him in a class 2 years above his own. He was told his mathematics wasn't strong enough for the degree he wanted. So he turned up at that lecturer's door every single week for a year until they let him in. Trevor Laughton is an enterprise sales executive at Cloudflare. 30 years in technology, 27 American states, and a briefing at NATO, none of which he planned. The sailor who spends 5 minutes talking in a 1-hour meeting and calls that a good meeting. The executive who found the file telling him to stop a customer from leaving, and he helped them leave anyway. They bought twice as much. And the man who stopped wearing watch 20 years ago because he refuses to give anyone sitting across a table from him the right to price him. This conversation moves through ambition, chaos theory, and a question a friend's death left behind. How do you make the most of a life without letting it take everything you are?
How do you balance all of the stresses, the responsibilities of life, and still maintain the time to look after yourself?
If you have ever been told what you are by your family, by an employer, by an industry, and quietly decided to be something else anyway, this one is for you. This is Life in the Trenches with a Resilient Leader, a segment of the Stylish Cyber Podcast. I am your host, the Stylish Cyber Guy. And if this resonates, I simply ask, tell the others.
If this conversation gives you something, clarity, confidence, or simply a different way of thinking, then it's doing its job. This podcast exists to make cyber more human, to create space for leaders to think clearly and grow together without fear. I am Khalil McIntamy, the Stylish Cyber Guy. If this conversation resonates, then I simply ask, tell the others. That's how we build this community, one conversation at a time.
Trevor, welcome to the Stylish Cyber Podcast. And so this segment that we're having is the Life in the Trenches with a Resilient Leader. And it's where we tap into the origin story of every guest, but also get to know them at their core, explore their journey and their life's task, and also understand what impact they're having on the world. And today I want to do something exciting with you where we will deliver value to the audience. Particularly, the audience I have in mind is, what does life in your career trajectory looks like, but also with your expertise in you going from the technology person to now times and times again you've done activities around sales. How can we approach sales and what makes a push sale? What did the back say? But to start with, um, for context, if you could tell us who you are and why should the audience care?
Yeah, thanks, Al. It's great to be with you here today. And yeah, Trevor Laughton, Big Trev, I'm well known, around the traps. You would never find a cybersecurity event in Brisbane where I'm not there, in a Hawaiian shirt, representing the industry, and love the industry too, hell. And we've known each other for 5 years or more now, and it's been a great journey. And I do find myself working in cybersecurity, as an enterprise sales executive. But when I started my career, when I went to university, I had no. I didn't envision being an enterprise seller in the cybersecurity industry. In fact, when I studied computer science in the 90s, cybersecurity wasn't even a term that had been coined at that stage. There was talk about security layers and the like, but it was pre-internet when I studied. So where there's no connectivity, there's far less security risk. So it's the industry's grown enormously over the last 30 years.
Absolutely. So in my research about yourself, Trevor, three things stand out for me. So actually, I asked Perplexity to do a bit of research for me. Number one is consistent language around customer and impact oriented rather than transaction. So it tells me that your kind of person who is customer and impact driven, oriented towards that rather than looking at the ones and zeros. Second one is career longevity. That you are likely, you've seen the career, you've seen the technological change is moving fast. You went from the dot-com boom to cyber to cloud, and now network and so on. And you've seen it all. That's another standout. Number three is the breadth of solutions, working with customers towards building partnership, but also really focusing on the value delivery. Has it got it right?
Yeah, there's a lot in there, Hal. I think of myself sometimes as an evangelist, a technology evangelist. So I aspire to share information with a customer, friend, colleague about something that they've never heard of before, and that they might not even realise that they have a need for it. So, but that's where the motivation comes from. That you get that tingle up your spine when a customer says, "Actually, Trevor, I'd never thought of that." That's a really inspiring part of the job that I do week in, week out. I spend more of my time, I think, working for my customers than I do for the vendor that I represent. All of the time we spent together in Queensland government, I didn't spend any time in Rapid 7's office. I spent every second day in your office. So I'm constantly advocating for my customers, both commercially and technically, and that's a really rewarding part of the work that I do. And I continue to do it with a variety of technologies. Yes, there's cyber in there, but it's cyber is one element of the technology industry that we work in. It's just drawn a lot of us into that sphere.
Absolutely. But I want to go take a step back and really go through the journey for you. How did it start? Let's go start from the beginning. I mean, and you can start from wherever you want, but I want to know what's the origin story for Trevor.
Yeah, I don't think we can go back that far,
Yeah,
because there's probably some skeletons in the closet before internet that your AI tooling
we wouldn't be able to find exactly, which is why we are sitting down together. I really want to know, what was it like? What were you dreaming growing up? Um, are you living your dream right now? And uh, also, how did this journey started? Do you feel fulfilled?
No, it's deep health and deep. And yeah, you know what? As you grow in life, you probably forget a little bit about what your dreams are, and you just live the day-to-day life, for your family, for your employer. But look, when I was very young, I was brought up in a largely working class family. No one in my family had ever gone to university before. And, in fact, I can quote my father saying, only idiots go to university, Trevor. And I'm like, well, if that's not motivation for me to go to university, to rebel against what my childhood might have represented. But I developed an interest in computing in the 80s, in maybe from 1985 onwards. And, and I was in a school, Preston East Technical College. And they challenged me and said, Trevor, what do you want to study? And I said, well, actually, I really like the look of that computer lab there. I'd like to study computer science. And they said, well, sorry, we don't offer computer science for a year 8 or 9 student.
Wow.
So I said, I still want to do it. So they put me into a higher grade class. And I did really well, at it, and developed a really strong interest. And with that, I collected computers, repaired computers at home, delved into how they operate, and taught myself how to do programming in a variety of different languages. And I was determined to go to university. It didn't matter how hard I had to work, how many maths or physics or other subjects that were required. And I even went and approached the course supervisor at the university at the time. And I think that he got so, but the persistent approaches from me to Alex Simcock was the lecturer concerned. I took samples of my work to him week in, week out throughout year 12, and I was determined to get into that Bachelor of Applied Science in Computer Technology. And in the end, I did get in. They told me I had to do a maths bridging course over the summer to improve some of my mathematics skills, which I did because I was determined to get into that course. And you know what? I got into university, and what an amazing place a university is. Like, talk about an eye-opening experience of culture, of learning, and pursuit of academic knowledge, and I loved that. You were let loose to explore all of these things that are you can barely imagine. I lived in shared houses in university with colleagues, and I did quite well. A B grade student. I was no dux of the university, but I just, and I got there through hard work. I wasn't naturally gifted with mathematics or electronics or computing skills. I had to really apply my time, and with friends that I met there, we would study intensely, and we would get the results, and it was an amazingly rewarding experience.
Amazing. I want to go back to that state where you mentioned, nobody went to university in your household at the time. Um, so you were quite an anomaly. What is, even your father was telling you, all these years brought to university. What is that drive? What is pushing you? Why?
Look, for me, it was the want to have a secure life, be able to hold down a secure job, earn a decent living. They were really basic goals, to be honest, back then. Just wanting to be able to afford to buy my own house. Just simple things. So
So at the time, your household doesn't have any of these things?
no, it was a working class family. The parents worked hard in their own business, and and I saw computing at the time as being a growth industry, which it undoubtedly was. I wanted to be part of that. I wanted an employer to pay me to travel the world, and I've
You have achieved that.
achieved that. But I loved university so much that I continued to study after my undergraduate course. There, I went and studied an honours year at Curtin University in Perth, and that was a great year. I started researching human-computer interaction for people with disabilities. So it allowed basic control of an environment, sort of just binary controls of opening a window or closing a window through using BIOS feedback into a computer interface. And
What year was that?
that was 1993.
Oh my God.
And that was great. It allowed me to apply my technical skills, but also make a contribution outside of just the pure technology, and that was quite inspiring. And I then subsequently went on to commence a PhD in the same subject matter. But lo and behold, what happens? We have to earn a living, don't we? So I'm afraid I never completed.
But that year you were already married and.
No, not a chance.
Okay.
No, I was a free spirit then.
Wow.
Like, yeah, the world was literally one's oyster. You know, there were no responsibilities. There were no, yeah, you could go, spend your time doing anything you wanted to. And in my case, I wanted to continue research, but I had to go and get a real job. And
What was the moment that you had that realized? By the way, what year, how old were you at the time, if you don't mind me asking? What were the thought process?
21 to 23.
Yeah. So you are fearless at that time, you know.
Oh yeah, you are.
Making,
You are, but you're learning so rapidly, like, you know, that, and your thirst for knowledge is insatiable, you know, at that age, and I worked inside universities and inside education environments for some time, even after I stopped that research work,
right?
because I felt very comfortable in that environment, and I was an IT manager in a school at one stage. I worked for the Department of Education doing pilots of Citrix technology in schools, and it was a good, comfortable existence.
Yeah.
But eventually, I guess what happened was I decided I wanted to do something bigger, something different. So I transitioned out of that sort of university, academic, government environment into a commercial environment, which was very different culturally, and it took some time for me to really embrace it. But I did, and at that point, I wasn't a salesman. I'd almost completed a PhD. You know, like you don't do research in academic environments to end up in enterprise selling.
Exactly.
So my employer at the time said to me, "Well, we'll call you the education business manager, Trevor."
Whoa.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it was still the same thing.
Yeah.
I was going out to schools evangelizing the technology, and they were adopting it. And then I realized I had this moment where, well, actually, this career, it works for me. I get to experiment with new technology. I get to evangelize technology, and I get to talk to people about it. And I'm like, well, this is a great career, and I get paid to do it.
Exactly. Interesting. So you had that moment that, I think PhD is no longer the way to go, because you use the term peace and to start making money. during that period, I want to understand your mindset, Trevor. What was the drive at that moment? Is it just you just want to make money, or is there an aspect of you that is also you wanting more? Because you didn't mention that that your thirst for knowledge is also insatiable at that period.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and so it wasn't a want for money's sake. It was just a want to have a comfortable life, life, and you can do well in university and academia, but maybe I saw there's a faster path to having a comfortable life in the commercial world, and um, and it happened very, very quickly. I mean, not only did I have some exciting work in what was then the late 90s, but I was so ambitious at the time that I even started my own company. So this was before the dot-com boom.
Let's take a step back. So while you were you joined enterprise,
Yeah.
and that same period you decided to start a startup
No, it was maybe two years on from there.
while you are at the enterprise, the commercial.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So can you walk me through that period, please?
Well, you can feel it. You're still young, Hal, and you don't have those responsibilities. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have the cost of living. And it was an exciting time to be in the IT industry.
And you are already at what 22 net by that period.
Oh no, by then I'm probably 28 or
Okay, please. Yeah, I'm curious to see at what moment that spark thing went in for you, and you said, there's an opportunity here that I want to explore. Some
yeah. So so the dot-com boom and bust sort of happened in that sort of 99 2001 period, and I was riding that wave. I was a young technology executive. Nothing could go wrong. Nothing could go wrong. So I quit my job and I started. I went and registered a company, and I started Express Apps, and that and at that point in time, I was indestructible.
Wow.
I wasn't earning any money, but I had my own company. I had business partners. People were excited about what I was doing, and that and that excitement continued on for maybe a year before I realised, well, actually, I have to earn money as well as me excited and motivated. So through a whole bunch of initiatives, I secured some government funding for
Express that.
Express Apps, and ultimately the company was acquired by a systems integrator at the time. And
So you managed to even sell it.
yes, so nobody got rich, just so we're clear. But I learnt a lot. It was set up largely for success. They took a primary ownership in the company, and over a period of time, I could earn some more equity and that. But it was great. Would you say we were the most successful startup of the 2000 era? No, but gee, it was fun trying.
So now I think we have to take a pause here, Trevor, and really talk about what are some of those lessons you've learned. You've done this for like 2 years at the time.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
So what have you learned doing this? In terms of what has that taught you, and from there, what have you taken out of that little shaping your next chapter?
Yeah, so I think anybody who's old enough to do a starter, I congratulate you and I encourage you to do so. It's never straightforward. You never turn on customers and revenue from day one. You've got to constantly change or evolve what you're doing until you can get to a repeatable sales model. That's the key. You might have one customer wanting to use your technology in a particular fashion, which might be a little bit different to what you thought at the start. But if you can take that use case and make it repeatable and productize it, then you have the foundation of a successful startup. If everything that you do is bespoke, then it's harder to scale the company.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yeah, less sustainable. You need more resources and that. But if you can reach a point where you actually have a product that a customer wants to consume, and then you could take that product offering and repeat it, and I think that's the key. A lot of us focus on the technology and not how the customer wants to consume it. Like, it's great to have a cool piece of technology, don't get me wrong, but what you really need is a proven transaction with a customer that gives you the confidence to then make it repeatable.
Interesting. So at that period, did you take efforts out to a level where at least you've got few customers?
Oh yeah, we had
Yeah.
revenue. So it was it was an application service provider, which doesn't mean anything in today's industry, but back in that time period,
Big deal.
there was a lot of large and small companies exploring this application service provision space. And I didn't realize it at the time, and I would never have the resources of an Amazon Web Services or some of these companies of scale today. But really, what we were creating was the same vision that someone like an Amazon Web Services has executed.
Right.
It's just we didn't have the scale or the resources to do it. But essentially, that the whole software as a service industry, as we know it today, was born out of this application service provider. It was taking a legacy application and delivering it to a customer virtually.
Wow.
And that was before a Salesforce existed, before any of the applications that we consume today are delivered over the internet. They were done by virtualizing them in a data center and delivering them via remote access technology.
Wow. And this was, I mean, the old is new. Not really is truly new, if you think about it.
Well,
Yeah.
we go back to bureaus when it was mainframes and everything was running centrally, and that's kind of what's happening with AI today. It's I guess it is distributed to some extent,
Yeah.
but it's all happening in a data center,
Exactly.
and you're consuming it, remotely.
So now I want to do a bit of thought experiment. Imagine now you've got a bit of resources to relive you that moment of express. What will you have done differently?
Well, you know what? I might not have done anything differently because it was a great experience for me. I didn't get rich, but it was the foundation of my career.
So my question was absolutely what you are going different as in if you have the opportunity to redo it or build another startup and you have the resources.
Yes.
See that lesson out of that period, what would you have done today?
Probably fail fast is the key. So I have done a couple of other smaller startups in since that time, but through one reason or another, I haven't followed through with them because I would have realized quickly that they probably weren't going to be viable. But in my work today, and for the last 20 years, every day is kind of like working for a startup because the company that I represent today, Cloudflare, it's like working for $1 billion startup. And just here in Queensland, in the work that I do, I have to evangelize new tech and generate new conversations for things that maybe don't even exist yet. So it's kind of like working for a startup, but having the resources of a large company behind me.
Interesting. And where you also, if with the right opportunity, I've also built a team around.
Yeah.
So it was just,
Well, there's a virtual team all the time. There's technical people, there's management, there's people that I draw on all the time, business partners, and yeah, it is kind of like you're running a small business.
so you went from Express App, you sold it, then what next?
Well, one of the most exciting things happened in my career at that point in time.
Yes.
And I found myself working for a defense contractor, Tenix, and I don't have a military background or a defense background, but what I was I was an evangelist for this particular technical architecture that facilitated network separation between classified and unclassified networks, and it would allow you to deliver essentially an internet browser from an unclassified network onto a classified network without compromising any of the classified technology. And you know what? Most of the customers of this solution had a switch under the desk that switched between a classified and unclassified. But the one that I really liked was the one that delivered it virtually through a one-way diode to the classified network. And I became so passionate about it, Hal, that in the end, I was moved from Sydney at the time to Washington, DC, and I traveled all over America evangelizing this tech with companies like Boeing and Lockheed Martin and other defense contractors.
Wow.
I went to 27 states of America in that time. Weird places like Oak Ridge, Tennessee,
Yeah.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, just cool places that are off the map. And I reckon I've been to more states of America in that time period than a Native American might have.
Wow. My God. So at that period, still no responsibilities for you?
Oh, there were some because with age comes some responsibilities.
Yeah.
But yeah, no family.
Yeah.
But but it was exciting again. Again, it was working for startup style tech, even though it was in an established industry, and I got paid to travel the world. I even went to NATO to do a briefing on the technology, right? And
Tell me about that experience.
well, the request came in to the office, and there were seasoned military people that worked for this company, Tenix, there. But the sales leader looked around and said, "Actually, Trevor, you're going to Brussels and you're doing the briefing." And I'm like, now how exciting is that to go into NATO to brief them on a network separation technology? And you know that was again fulfilling my dream. I'm traveling the world and being paid to do it.
When you look back at that time, will you say all of this is something that you've planned?
No, you can't plan. You can't plan it. Hell, there's no way. Yeah, like I don't. I mean, maybe a career as a doctor you can plan because you spend 6 years at university or more, and then you go as an intern, and it's somewhat structured. But not in technology. No way. There's no way that working class kid, from the mid '80s could be giving a briefing at Brussels on network separation. Like, how is that plannable?
Yeah. Interesting. You know what comes to what I'm taking when you mentioned is it's just first, what made you say yes? You did not, I imagine you, because you gave it, you say yes. Number two, how prepared were you at the time to actually even go on, summon the courage to stand in front of diplomats, deliver such a briefing? And what was the experience like after that what had happened? So those key.
Well, I guess before any presentation, everyone's a little bit nervous. I mean, nobody gets up in front of any audience without some nerves. In fact, some nerves are healthy.
Is that?
But you know, it was such a privilege to be able to do that and be chosen to do that. That I applied my skills and my knowledge in a way that was worthy of what I
What are
was.
those skills? Can you articulate what those skills are at the time?
Well, look, I've always liked public speaking and presenting to some extent. But again, only if I can do it in an innovative way. I hardly use PowerPoint slides at all anymore. I'll get audience engagement. I'll play some games. I'll get them to send me text messages with questions impromptu through the presentation. So, but you have to eventually get comfortable being in front of an audience. Yeah, certainly if you want to be an enterprise account manager, you're going to be meeting with all sorts of different personas. You're going to be meeting with senior executives. You're going to be meeting with technical stakeholders, and often they know more than you do about whatever the subject is you're talking about. In fact, the best conversations are ones where you do some learning as well. So, you have to have an open mind, and you have to be able to listen and respond, in a respectful and timely manner, and not just present 20 PowerPoint slides.
What is it about you that leader of yours tap at you and say, Trevor, you are going to person to do this presentation? What did you saw it?
Well, there are things that have happened at university and that you don't know about me, Al. I was a mobile DJ for a while, right? And I
Interesting.
mobile DJ, and I like, as I say, evangelizing and talking and exploring. So it was a natural thing for me. The more challenging the ask, the more I'm going to respond to it.
Yeah.
But in all of those things that I do back then and today, what I'm not is I'm not a manager of people, right? I'm a manager of opportunities and of customers, and I might have a virtual team working with me, but I've never aspired to being a people manager. So when you use the word leader, it's a good word to use, because I do like to lead, but I don't like to manage. Right, I don't like to manage people, but I like to lead with innovation, with big guy, got a bit of commanding presence, so it's a good it's a good use of my skills.
And I like what you just said. Big guy with a commanding voice, and that's so true. Every individual, my belief is, every individual was given some innate God-given talent that is uniquely there. All they have to do is to limp into that and get curious and be so good at those things. Especially things like your voice, if you use it well and to the benefit of improving other people's lives, it will come back in a rewarding way. That's what I've always believed in that. And I've seen it also in people's journey, even in this podcast now, 7-8 episodes in, I've seen in some key pattern in people's journey as well. And that's why I want to get to the meat or the bone of your own sort of journey as to what are those things, not only the core foundation that shape you at your core, but also the thing that you think from all the leaders that you have in your journey that they tend to have identified in you that is just an easy no-brainer. They can say, this is a Trevor thing. Trevor, you go to this. Yeah, you can point to.
Yeah, well, look, I like to think of myself as reasonably authentic. Yeah, I'm pretty honest sort of a guy, and if it's out of my capability, I'll probably say I can't do that, or but you know what? As I've grown in my career, I've lent more into, as you say, those characteristics that define me. As I say, you'll see me at any Brisbane trade show, with a Hawaiian shirt, and that, because you know what, it defines me. If I turned up in a suit and tie, I know people would think I'm there for a job interview or something. It'd be very unnatural. So, but I think that my managers see that in me, and they can rely on me to be authentic and be a little bit original, and share knowledge in a fun and but still authoritative way.
Wow. It's so beautiful to see when people try just to be themselves. Yeah. And the other individual can feel it also, and it becomes much more reliable towards even not only closing in business, but also really when it comes to, that phrase when they say, well, who are you gonna dial when you have the one person to call to save your life, that kind of thing. I believe there's a similar version of it in the business world as well. Whom can you lean on to? And I think people like yourself and the kind of role that you play, with technology transformation, things like that, it's important to have authentic people who will show care and deliver. Can you talk more on that,
Well,
Master?
I can. There's one thing I might mention, because you asked me to wear a timepiece today, Shal, and I deliberately don't wear a watch anymore.
Yeah.
Because when I was in those formative years of my career, saw people wearing Rolexes, Tag Heuers, and I thought, I could have a Tag Heuer, and I went and bought one.
Oh.
But then I realised, actually, every time I went to a meeting, somebody sitting opposite the table would judge me based on the watch that I wore. Right. And if I wore a cheap watch, they would make a judgment of me. And if I wore an expensive watch, they would have a different perception of me. So I decided that I'm not going to give the person who I'm sitting across the table from the right to judge me based on something material. They have to judge me based on the conversation and the person. So for more than 20 years, I haven't worn a watch deliberately, so that I don't get judged. But anyway, that's just because, again, I want to build relationships with people that have a soul, and want to make a contribution to the industry, to society, whatever it happens to be. And material possessions are not something I use as a guide on how I judge people.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, also, those things are there as aesthetics, and most of them also is connected to people's interest and so on. But unfortunately, sometimes it's being used as the thing to use to judge other people without actually even making the effort to really understand who is the person in front of you. But how do you change those perceptions? If you find yourself, do you have an example, like in your years of career where you're trying to close this deal, but it's just nothing, it's just not connecting, there's no alignment, you are not. Have you had any story?
Well, I think probably the best response to that is that it shouldn't be about closing the deal, right? Yes, there might be a deal or a transaction, but if you work hard for yourself, for the company you represent, and for the customer, the deal will come. So I might meet with a customer 5 times over 2 years, and then it'll be like, that's that thing Trevor's talking about, and who do they call? Yeah. So yes, there is a deal, and yes, you are measured by revenue, but if all you're focused on is the revenue, then you won't give yourself the right to build the relationships that allow for those transactions to happen.
I was gonna ask this question as we move on in the conversation, but I think I'll just ask now so I will not forget. In that case, how do you reconcile uh with situation where, you know, in the vendor space where it's all about, let's say today you've reached your KPIs where you've smashed all your goals, all KPIs. The very next day you'll be in a situation where, okay, the company wants double that hard work. How do you keep up with that?
Yeah,
Because
there is a constant desire for growth in all of the technology industries. So it's not unique to cyber, it's not unique to any one company, but the those companies that are listed on the NASDAQ that share prices continue to increase are delivering maybe 20-30% growth every year. Like, and those companies are already turning over billions of dollars sometimes. So how do you get 30% growth on $2 billion? You know, but they do, and those that pressure does flow down to the field. Yeah, and it is it is part of the job that we do. But
I know somebody, by the way, Trevor. I know somebody within the industry. The pressure got into him so much that he had to leave the road.
Yeah.
There, nothing was enough. Even though he has met his KPI, the next day there was more.
Yeah, they do, but it's not it's understandable because the way that the industry has been built, it's been built on growth. And let's face it, I mean, the last 40 years of technology are probably the fastest. Like, it's an exponential. Like, the 40 years prior to that, sure, there was growth, but and now with AI, the pace at which the growth is happening, hours. I mean, and the economy is addicted to that growth, right? And if you want to be in this industry, you need to have that same appetite and willingness to work, at that pace. And but that's exciting too, because it's the growth doesn't come just by selling the same thing. The growth comes through innovation and constant innovation, new features, new technology, new business requirements, and similarly too, it's not just the technology companies that have that same desire for growth. The customers that are consuming AI or cybersecurity, they have that desire as well. Yeah, like that. A company listed on the Australian Stock Exchange still has to grow. Maybe not at 30%, but they still have to grow at 10 or 20% a year. So they have to innovate as well. So think about the travel industry. I mean, is there going to be a role in the future for a travel agent? Probably, but how many times have you asked an AI tool, tell me how much a flight's going to be to Sydney next month or that? So it is changing, and but the want for that growth, it happens in all industries. It's just the technology industry, the growth metrics are higher, just because it's happened so quickly.
Interesting. So how do you keep up with that, you personally, and stay the course, maintain that your sanity, making sure under the pressure doesn't get after you and all those things? And do you have certain frameworks, process that you follow that you can share with any junior or entry person who want to go into sales in technology or cyber that you could share?
Yeah. Well, I think that the people element is key. Like, people that I've dealt with over 20 years or more, in the work that I do, are people that trust me and I trust them. That But if you are just chasing a transaction, like you say, yes, then you don't get the opportunity to build the depth of those relationships. And you know what? I mean, how great is it that this industry, through working hard, but now I've got the right to wear Hawaiian shirts and hats, you know, to work every day. Yeah. Like, who wouldn't want a job being able to do that? Exactly. But it's people, relationships, trust, and listening. And then, as I say, opportunities will present themselves.
So, Trevor, you then took that chance. You moved into the tech world. You saw Express apps. You then uh, got the opportunity where you were traveling the world. The most exciting role that you mentioned, traveling around the US. What happened then next? What was the next pivot for you, or the next chapter after that?
Yeah, well, at that stage, even though I was technically an enterprise sales person, I didn't feel like it, because it was so innovative what we were doing, and it was so exciting, right? So I at that stage, I hadn't really resolved in my mind that my career was going to be, as an enterprise account manager, here in Brisbane. But I came back to Australia from that experience. The company repatriated us all back to Australia, and then I really started on I guess the methodical journey of being an enterprise account manager.
All right, then let's take a pause. This is where you started real methodical plan.
Yeah, I guess I knew then what I was good at and what I wasn't, and didn't want to manage people. Wanted to manage customers and relationships. I wanted to be able to present innovative technology. So and I naturally became an enterprise account manager, in the IT industry. But you can't go to university, study computer science, and say, "Oh, I want to be an enterprise account manager in a cybersecurity vendor."
Thank you very much, because that's also my question. How can one go from a technologist to that?
Yes.
And that's why I said, did you plan this?
No,
But
I didn't. I was just passionate, and I still am passionate. And the passion, the commanding voice,
right.
just meant that I gravitated more towards being a communicator than being a technician. Because I could have gone either way. I could have been a computer programmer. I could have been an electronics technician. But just I guess my persona and style meant that I just gravitated more towards that evangelizing and talking about solutions, which ultimately meant I became an enterprise account manager.
Amazing. Wow.
But you have to do an apprenticeship first. Like you don't just fall into it. You have to. You might have to start as a business development representative.
Right.
You might be hitting the phones day in, day out,
Okay.
as one stepping stone. You might come in through a technical foundation,
Right.
but I've seen many technical people or systems engineers evolve into enterprise account managers.
So with you, Trevor, I think it was just natural, like you say, because you happen to have your way around connecting with people, but also communication was one of your strongest skills as well. Can you talk to me about that? What's your communication style like? Because also now when you're with an executive, are you talking in business terms or technical terms, or you mix the two together? How do you read when to go technical, when to be business, and where does that soft balance?
Yeah,
Play?
yeah. So it comes through listening, Hal. So if I'm in a 1 hour meeting with a customer, and I have spent 5 minutes talking, and they've spent 55 minutes talking, that's a good meeting, right? Because I've learned what their requirements are, and I've probably got some actions to take. Whereas if I spend the 55 minutes talking, then we'll probably get to the end of the meeting, and there won't. I've never given the customer the opportunity to share. What their requirements are. So there's that. There's research before you go into a meeting. So you need to know what you're there about, and that's got nothing to do with, in my case, Cloudflare necessarily. It's got to do with what the customer, what their business requirements are. I mean, if it's an airline, if it's a travel industry, it's all about what they want to do, and then how we can help facilitate it.
Interesting.
And sure enough, if there's some technical requirements that come out of that,
Yes.
then the next step will be with technical stakeholders on their side and our side. I don't. I mean, I'm technical enough, but I don't. I'm not on the console.
Yes.
Doing the thing, doing the things.
Yeah. Wow. So you did, by that moment, Trevor, that's when the actual planning towards, okay, this is where you're going to go full speed. Once you made that decision, what are some of the key actions you started taking?
Yeah. So I don't think you can go to university and study enterprise sales. I don't think you can. Right.
That is
I don't think there's a Bachelor of Arts in enterprise sales. In fact, you look at it, all of the jobs that I've applied for, they had a minimum requirement of a degree.
Yeah.
They don't say what the degree is in. And so I know people who have done law, who have done marketing, who have done technology like me, that end up in the role. But once you have resolved that you want to be, or you are, an enterprise seller, then there's a whole range of methodologies that you can apply to your work. So what really what they allow you to do is they allow you to document stakeholders on the customer side and on the supplier side, and start to map interactions out between the organizations. So over time, people influence different people, and you build a strategy,
right,
to get to whatever the end goal happens to be. So you can study like there's De Bono's 6 thinking hats. I quite like that, because
it would be Bono.
yes,
Oh my
because
God,
it puts you in the eyes of the customer.
So for the audience who will not know who Edward De Bono is, can you give a bit what?
I don't claim to be an expert on Edward De Bono, but his methodology is that there are 6 different thinking hacks, and you put yourself in different mindsets. So if it's in a sales mindset, you might have a customer hat, you might have a technical hat, you might have a compliance hat, and you look at what the problem is you're trying to solve from each of these different perspectives, and it helps you build a picture of what the outcome is, right? So if you're just thinking about it, if all I'm interested in is my own interests or Cloudflare's interests, I'm not going to achieve half of the things that I need to. I need to think, well, what are the KPIs the customer has? What are the business pressures they're under? What are the compliance requirements that they've got? They're all the things that you need to understand, and then you could start mapping technology to it.
The technology actually comes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So once you decide you want to be an enterprise account manager in cybersecurity, then you stop studying technology and you start studying sales methodology. relentless, right? So, and then you start to apply those methodologies, and there's a variety. There's targeted account selling, there's spin selling, there's and there's something like Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats, but they all allow you to start to view the problems from the customer's perspective.
Interesting. So having the empathy
Yeah,
to sit in the shoe of the customer is critical.
it's the only way it can work.
I like that. It's the only way that can work. Can you think of a bad sale that you ever had? That thing?
Bad sale.
Yeah.
Um,
Or the ones that you try, you know that that's not what will actually real great outcome for the customer. But
Well-
customer doesn't want.
Well, actually, I do know an example
Yes.
of that, and I joined a company a number of years ago, and I came into a role that was being done by somebody else,
Yeah.
and I saw in the system a business case that said we've got to stop the customer from doing this because they won't buy any more of our stuff. And I thought to myself, that's a terrible perspective, right? If the customer wants to do something different, right, regardless of what our interests are, you should be helping them get there, right? Not stopping them from getting there. So I took it upon myself in that role to actually change the narrative completely. And I went to the customer and I said, I don't care how much stuff you're going to buy, from us as a supplier, right? I recognize this is where you want to go, and I'm going to help you get there. And you know what? They bought twice as much stuff, right? Because I actually helped them do it, and they even got up publicly at some events and said as much.
Wow.
So, and that was all about.
That must be so fulfilling.
Well, it was, yeah, true. That was all about transitioning to the cloud from on-premise. That some people wanted them to stay on-premise because they buy more stuff, but they wanted to go to the cloud. And I'm like, mate, let me help you get there, and I'm with you.
Wow.
And that's it. You've got to look at it in the customer's eyes, not yeah. Even if you sell less stuff, like you think about compression technology in the storage industry.
Yes.
Why would a storage vendor want to invent compression technology? Because you sell less storage, don't you? So how does that make sense? But you know what? If you actually do things that help a customer, you might sell less of something, but you'll sell more something else that they need because you're actually helping them.
Interesting. In fact, that really got me to one of the things that I capture while doing this research. I asked what makes a strong enterprise seller. For example, a strong enterprise seller usually needs discovery discipline, credibility with technical buyers, patience in long cycles, and ability to translate risk into business income.
It sounds very familiar. That's very trademark. What we're expected to do. Because when you're talking about enterprise sales, you're not talking about sort of month to month transactions. These are business requirements that go over multi-year, and sometimes like I don't like to benefit from people's hardship, but I was working in Brisbane in 2010-11 when there was some major flooding that happened, and the whole city went underwater. And at that particular time, I worked for Citrix, which is a enterprise remote access company. And I got to tell you, in a natural disaster, when everybody is displaced from the office, it's a good time to be working for a remote access technology. So, sometimes it's through other be outside of your control that allow certain things to happen. And that's an example of one where, it clearly was completely out of my control.
You have to lead it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So what does make a weak sailor then?
Sorry, Hal?
What makes a weak salesman?
Yeah, but patience is key. You know what? I don't know that it's a weak salesperson,
Yeah.
but the company that you represent, company that you represent, they need to have the faith and the confidence and the strategy, to see through, those sometimes multi-year sales cycles there. It's yeah, I think that
You think you have to have it in you, like is it that you just had it or you don't, or is something that can be taught?
no, it can be taught. Yeah, yeah, no, you could definitely improve. I'm learning stuff all the time. So yeah, yeah. You've got to want it though.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to want it, and yes, there is pressure. Yes, there is. But every job has pressure. Sometimes it's operational pressure. Sometimes it's commercial pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's an exciting career if you want it.
So can you define what success looks like in a account enterprise manager type role?
Well, for me, for me, success is when I share information with a customer that they didn't know they needed, right? So, and they have that, that's success for me. Success for the company that I represent is then we execute on that vision that has been created. So that's So and success is a customer calls you back in 6 months and say, Trevor, that thing that you were talking about, let's go and do it. That's success.
Mm-hmm. So from there, Trevor, from that moment where you made that deliberate decision towards, okay, boy, all me here in the sales role, how is the journey so far, babe? What are you enjoying it? Are you living that dream? Are you up? Will you look back and do the same thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it too differently. It's a privilege for me, to be able to work for, a multi-billion-dollar startup in Cloudflare. That's it's exciting. It's rewarding. Customers like it. So I mean, uh, and because as one grows older and more mature, you're choosing to service your family's needs, your personal needs, and in some respects, work is a means to that as well. So the dream may not be the job that you're doing, but the life that you're living is definitely the dream.
So let's dive into that actually. So at that period where you've made that decision, you return back. By that period, have you already gotten married? You started having more responsibilities, or what was your personal life at that period?
So I was still pretty free spirited at that point in time.
Yeah.
But I so I've been married for 20 years, and I've got a lovely 70-year-old daughter and lovely wife, Gemma and Julie.
Nice.
And and through that 20 years, the responsibilities increase. You get a mortgage, you've got school fees to pay, so on and so on. But we still have managed to travel the world and done plenty of things.
How do you keep up with that, with those the responsibilities at the same time also continue to grow career-wise, and also at that period, does your vision for your life also changes in terms of what you really care about and the mission you want to have?
Yeah, that does change because as I brought some things in today to share with you, Hal, and maybe I will change hats. So maybe we'll go.
Is that
ma- Maybe Hal, maybe why don't we talk Mortal Kombat and retro gaming because work is important. Family is important. But I choose to spend some of my time and some of my resources with my interests. And for me, being a computer nerd from back in the 80s and 90s, I find myself working on retro computers, retro gaming consoles, and I set an ambition in life, Hal, to own Mortal Kombat for every generation of gaming console that has ever been invented.
Wow.
And I have achieved that. I have every version of Mortal Kombat from a Sega Mega Drive and a Nintendo
Wow.
entertainment system, right through to every PlayStation and Xbox variant.
I think we've got some of them here.
I do have some of them if you want to see.
Job and Kawi could get them. Wow. Oh my God. This is exciting. And by the way, you also brought some.
I did bring some Bilo Chung tea. But this is a Chinese green tea that my colleague Kelvin Pang introduced me to, and I'd like to share some of that with you.
Please, yeah. While we bring that, I would love to try UIT's chick. Wow, that is super. All of this. So look at that, and this one. Wow, Sarah, that is some wonderful.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
what do we got here?
Is that from the beginning, back in time?
This here is a Sega Mega Drive, and back in those days, cybersecurity wasn't an issue because everything was on a cartridge.
Yes.
So that's Mortal Kombat 3.
So you just already there.
You do. I just put it in there, and yeah.
Wow.
That's so Mortal Kombat for the Sega Mega Drive and for the Nintendo Entertainment System was the first variant after the arcade variant, and right through till PS5. This year, I'd recommend this for anyone who's a Mortal Kombat fan. This year has got every version of Mortal Kombat: Nintendo, Sega, Xbox, PlayStation.
So with this, you just put it on the PlayStation 5 and you can go back in time.
Got every single version of Mortal Kombat. That's awesome.
So now the question is, can I do this like brutality, fatality? Or is that?
Yeah. I believe it's all the original coding.
Oh my God, this really reminds me of my childhood. I was telling you that before we started rolling out Trevor, I still remember 2003, 2004 to 2006. What we would do is my friend and I are in our neighborhood. We've got this Sega. He's got one in his place. I've got one at mine. And we'll go to the internet cafe and download all the cheat code. And then we come back home and sell it to people in our neighborhood. Wow, I would love to try this.
Oh, any time, Hal. I'm open to a Mortal Kombat.
What is it about retro games that got you so fascinated that you managed to pretty much build a small museum in your home?
It's the electronics tinkering that I like. So I like to get something that doesn't work and clean it up and commission it, and sometimes modify them so that they can be connected to a modern TV and that type of thing. But and when I was younger, I wasn't so much a retro gamer. I tend to be playing with 8-bit computers. So this year is 16-bit technology.
Yeah.
As it says so here.
Oh, yeah.
But really the foundation of the microcomputer industry.
Yeah.
If grab one of these guys here. This one. Yeah, that's perfect.
Wow, that's
And now this here is an Australian computing icon. Hal MicroB is an Australian company, and from the mid '80s, maybe early '80s, and this here is a Z80 microprocessor with maybe 128K or 64K of RAM. Runs CPM as an operating with the inbuilt RAM.
oh man.
And
Oh my god.
it runs CPM as an operating system, and so before MS-DOS and Windows existed, yes, CPM was one of the foundations.
So tell me something, Trevor. With this, once you connect, this connects to the TV, and that's it.
No, something like that to a CRT monitor, like a green screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that boxy.
Yeah.
So once you connect it there, that's it. The computing is in there.
It is. But you do plug a disk drive into it or a tape drive, and any 8-bit computer or 16-bit gaming device will have my interest. How about this one?
Yeah.
I put this one here for now. This year would be the oldest one in my collection, Hal. Now, have you ever played Pong?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, this is from 1976, right? This is an Atari Pong console with the controllers here.
Yeah.
And all it does is put the bars on the screen and that's it.
But wow, paper, like it is amazing. Now with this, you don't care about vulnerabilities, yeah?
Well, this is it. It's not connected to anything, so there is no cybersecurity risk.
The world was so innocent, so fast.
Yeah,
Just enjoy, man.
that's it.
And now so much complexity. Oh my God. Wow. My God, look at that. Look at that. 1976.
Yeah.
They haven't even thought of giving birth to me at that. And man, oh man, this is like going all the way back in time.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And they're still in working terms, huh?
Oh yeah, totally. I get them. I clean them up, and I mean I don't play it very often, but it's just awesome to have all those.
Trevor, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, and
What else? I mean, that.
oh, don't get me started. Now, my favorite game actually, Hero.
Yeah.
Those Hero Hero cartridges. So along with Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
my favorite 8-bit game is Hero, and it's you're a helicopter man flying through caverns, fighting snakes.
So this is good.
And I own Hero for a Commodore 64, for an Atari 800 XL, for a ColecoVision, and for an Atari 2600.
Wow. I never had a hero.
Yes.
I never really saw me. Wow. How was the side, man?
Well,
Yeah, we did the audio training update, so after mid time I'll do retro game. And if the audience are interested, we will do a special segment on that, where we'll do it as a live stream.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That was really good, and play some games. Yeah, I know Jovan would love that.
But this is it, man. I have to do something with my personal tie, and that's what I commit to is playing, fixing, retro computing, and these are cool games. Yeah. So a lot of your listeners would know War Game.
Oh yeah, okay.
Do you know that movie, Hal? So
I know what that is.
yeah, where the kid hacks into the military computer.
Yeah, it says 1983.
There you go, 1983.
Wow, United Artists Corporation. All the rifles are packaged in there, but it was packaged in 1984. for equally coming upset.
That's man. But yeah, that's the war games is the foundation of hacking, Hal. So if we're talking cybersecurity,
Yes.
but you think that that movie was made in 1980, I want to say, and that was like a high school kid using maybe a library computer, connecting into a military computer system. And in the end, I seem to recall he didn't actually steal anything, but the point is that that's the foundation of hacking.
Yes.
That the whole industry is built on now.
Wow, exact.
Yeah.
Wow. It even say based on the movie, based on the hit MGM UA movie.
Yeah.
It's even said that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought it was relevant since you're talking cybersecurity. This is just another favorite of mine. Archon. It's like a chess game, only when the two pieces come together, so a bishop and a knight, then you go into a separate screen and you have a sword fight with different skills.
And look how it's still nicely there. It's unbelievable. It's still nicely piped to me. And with his manual. Manual is there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my God.
But yeah,
1983 also.
yeah, no cybersecurity risks back in 1983.
Except if the world is so innocent then. Lightly just have fun. Oh my God. Wow. I noted that Trevor, you also brought some of your work from the uni days. I think you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, I know that's pretty boring, isn't it? How like you don't want to see an assignment on chaos theory, do you?
Yeah, I want to.
Do you know what chaos theory is?
So that's why I want to. What's chaos theory?
Well, chaos.
Way out to the
Oh yeah, that's different, but we'll get on to that.
yeah.
Chaos theory, hell, is kind of like my theology, right? I mean, we've all explored religion and science, and we all come to our own conclusions as to what is right or wrong. And I see the role of the church as being immensely important for community and the like. But what I believe in from a theological point of view is cause and effect. Right, and chaos theory is built on cause and effect. So the fact that we're even having this conversation here today is going to drive something different happening tomorrow. And if we didn't have this conversation today, then whatever that thing that happens tomorrow won't happen. Right. So it's all about, do you believe in free will? Do you believe in free will, Hal?
I do.
You do. So chaos theory is almost bordering on no free will, right? But you can it can extrapolate out such that you do have free will.
Yes.
But still everything is bound to experiences before and after.
Interesting. Trevor, I didn't know that you are into that.
Yeah, no, I am, but and I do have a university assignment there on it. But let's not bore you with from university.
Really curious to dive into that even more. Yeah. I mean, even that looking after your, we're talking about your career journey, as there are decisions that you make in life that people go this or that, right?
Well, that's it. You ask, can you plan? See, chaos theory says you can't plan, right? Because whatever that destination is, and all of the cause and effect that happens between now and then, it's almost impossible to plan it, because there are things that are out of your control.
Yeah. I remember this scholar. His name is Hamza Yusuf. He lives in California. One of his speech that I listened to, he said, we tend to, and this is me paraphrasing what he said. He said we tend to talk about our how good we are, how great of achievement that we've made, but we never really sit down and account that so much of it has nothing to do with our capability or our know-how. But rather it's just luck. So much of it there's also a place where luck plays the most part of it. Yes, your capability have taken you to certain extent, but some of it he is postulating that so much of it has nothing to do with who we are or where we come from, but rather also where we didn't account for what luck plays into that. What sort of luck plays into that?
Yeah, so
Like that.
luck's an interesting word. I'd say the harder that you work, the luckier you get.
Is that too?
But yeah, I, I I don't think it's sort of fatalistic, but there are definitely things like, for example, a natural disaster that are outside of your control that impact what happens in your life. But all that is a slight deviation in my view on whatever your path is. All right.
Interesting. So let me push what I You mentioned natural disaster. Can I also spill a different perspective around now AI, for example? Many people are it's redundant and they're getting out of they're getting laid off. Is that out of someone's control? The way you consider that as well, and
There's two answers to that. One is that the only people that are going to be laid off because of AI, in my opinion, are the people that don't embrace it to use it. So even in the work that I do, we're provided multiple AI tools that we're expected to use. In fact, our CEO recently said that he wants us to view AI tools and agents as employees or as team members, and we need to have 10 to 100 of them working for us at any one time. So I might be having one doing research on a customer, just like you had a tool do research on me.
yeah,
I might have another one preparing a presentation, and so all. And in my view, I mean, AI is exciting, but and certainly from a cybersecurity point of view, I don't see AI attacks as new technological things. They're just more efficient.
is that
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
So in cybersecurity specifically, yes, there are going to be AI bots attacking websites, and yes, you're going to need AI tooling for defense. But and I could be wrong, but I don't think there's been a new innovative AI attack that AI has come up with. It's just efficiently applying all of the old attack vectors that have existed before. It's just that the scale at which it's doing it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And that yes, AI is going to impact all of us. It impacts me, and if we don't embrace AI in the work that I do, then yeah, I may be made redundant, but it's not because of AI, and it's because I didn't embrace AI.
So that's that first aspect you were answering that question. What about the second aspect? What's the second?
So there was the cybersecurity angle, and you need to embrace AI as part of your role. And any of us that are not doing it today, whether it's for a job interview, whether it even this retro gaming stuff, I use AI all the time to find out what symptom of this device might be faulty that needs repair. So we need to embrace it, and those of us that are, will probably thrive. Whereas those of us that don't and continue to do things the way we used to, we are probably less valuable to an employer, in the future. So that's how I would look at it. Do I think a nurse is going to be replaced by AI? No, I think we'll still need the same number of nurses, but I think that they could use AI to make their work more efficient. And So, are we still going to need a surgeon in the future? Yeah, I think we are. But you know what? He might have some agents working for him, passing him tools.
Yeah.
So
Some robots.
I have seen some futuristic stuff where maybe a robot might cut us open for surgery one day, but
I think so.
it's
I saw last week in one of the episodes for the diary of a CEO where they are showing it's one of the assembly line in Mumbai in India. They actually put in some AI monitoring device in factories where they are sort of knitting some of those fabrics. So you say, and the AI image is really capturing the hand movement or even employer. Yeah. So they will have thousands of data, which means later on it's just that will be translated into a code which to be sent to one machine. By one machine learning, thousands of machines will learn how to do that. So which means they are going to replace in no record time, all those factory workers are going to be replaced. So I mean, in one angle, I ask myself, yeah, that's probably a good thing because those are million jobs that probably
a computer could do.
yeah, can do it more efficiently. But then what's gonna happen to those people? What are you going to be doing?
Well, I don't think the world ends. It just means that they have the opportunity to do something different. That AI can't do. I think every time we find things that AI or computers can do, that doesn't mean that humans are useless anymore. It just means that you spend your time doing something different, right? And that might be food preparation. Or there will be any number of activities and jobs at all skill levels that'll still be available.
Let me tell you, when I sit down quietly in bed these days, when the lights are off, you hear all this white noise coming into your face. Your eyes are shut. You are thinking, wondering about some of the decisions they've done in your life, but also thinking about how much things are changing faster. And you are trying to make sense of some of those things, trying to also ask the question, okay, what kind of world would, for example, my daughter grow up in? What sort of skills should I be making sure that she's learning from, and so on and so forth. One of the key things that comes to mind is we are already, especially essentially in the Western world, we got all the technology that should be there to make us even more human and connect deeply. But for some reason, we still feel disconnected. We still have situations where people are still lonely, depressed, and things like. When we reach a stage where we had agents everywhere doing most of this work and things like, I ask myself this very basic question: how can we remain safe human? Number one. Number two, also, what are some of that? What are we going to be doing with our free time? Because it means we're going to have more free time. That's how I see that. What are we going to be doing with our time?
Well, you could do something cool like retro queuing, right? You could listen to some cool music. I don't know, you could play with radio controlled cars if that's your thing, right? There's any number. You can do craft at home. The but
Yes.
but the I don't know that the economy is going to evolve into such an automated existence that you're going to have an AI bot buying something from an AI bot um, without the need for some human consumption in this, because yes, you might send an AI agent out to book your airfare. That's a perfectly legitimate thing to do. Book me the cheapest airfare to Sydney next week. Yeah, right. And that, sure enough, that's one AI bot talking to another AI bot. But you're still flying to Sydney in the end.
It's
Right.
so true. Yeah.
So And the travel agent that you might have gone to 20 years ago, right, is probably maybe running a hospitality company or so, doing something else that they're less required to do today because of some of this automation. But there's still a role for humans, even in a world with AI. Because the bot ain't going to fly to Sydney and meet with my customer and come back and document a proposal. I don't think we're quite there yet.
Wow. So what you are referring, is there anything you are encouraging your kids to do now to prepare for the future?
Look, it's all about your core values, Van. How the if you grow up being a trustworthy, generous soul, you'll do fine. Like, um, yeah, I mean, yeah, the marks at school, the marks at university, they're important, but no, whenever I apply for a job today, nobody asks me what marks I got at university. No one cares, right? But what they do care about is that I've acted with integrity and authenticity in all of the work that I do. So, yes, get the university degree,
Yeah.
but know that in 5 or 10 years, the results and even the degree itself may not be something that you use in your day-to-day work. But what it's enabled you to do, really, what university does is teach you how to learn and how to adapt. It might teach you law, it might teach you cybersecurity, it might teach you something else. But in 10 years, what you've learned is how to adapt in the world, and nobody's going to ask you what your results were at university.
Wow. So profound and Amy did that. Will you ever retire?
Oh, I'd love to retire. Let me tell you. Yes. The sooner I could do it, the better. Not because I don't like the work that I do, but I want to continue living life and enjoying life, and I don't I don't necessarily subscribe that we should be working into our 60s, 70s. Unless you choose to. Some people choose to.
Yes.
But I see work as a means to fund cool things like retro gaming and a broader lifestyle.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm. I want to know, Trevor, actually, what's the first game that grabbed you emotionally?
Game?
Yeah.
Oh,
A little bit that grabbed you emotionally that really actually you said, that I really want to pursue this, and now led to you building a small museum at you.
Um, is there a single game? I mean, I I go back to the 80s where I played Hero, or the 90s and 2000s with Mortal Kombat. But actually, one of the coolest games are text-based adventure games like Zork or Transylvania on an Apple IIe. And these are games where there are practically no graphics, right? You are in another world, and you are walking down a path, and the text returns that there's an item there, and you pick it up, and it's like a choose your own adventure. Have you ever read a choose your own adventure?
Yeah, I think I know, not really a book, but I've seen similar in one of the Netflix movie where you can actually, it's like engaging. It says you to choose this or that, and then that will determine what the next scene of the movie will look like. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, but and those text-based adventure games were kind of the foundation for what became things like Doom and other multiplayer games, which have a bit more of a violent take on it. But fundamentally, those games can take you into another world, and gaming is cool. So someone said to me the other day that their kid wanted to write computer games when he grows up, and I'm like, that'd be a great career to do. But
And these days it's even possible. Actually.
yeah, it is possible.
That makes so much.
Yeah, so I think gaming is a cool thing.
Is there anything you learned from gaming that really helped you about life in general?
Probably not from the gaming experience. I can't do any of the moves in Mortal Kombat.
That would be so good if you can.
I mean,
I can see you, doing Wei Chong like Liu Kang.
well, yeah, I could whip my hat off like Raiden and cut your neck or something like that. But no, no. What I get out of it is all of the electronic interactions. So the fact that from this here, you could be playing Mortal Kombat on a 70-inch TV. Is cool. So the tech is what's cool for me. Not necessarily the gaming experience, but the tech experience.
And I think at heart you are a tinkerer. You like tinkering yourself.
Yeah, I do. And that, but I play cool games like Sonic, which is kind of like a adventure game. So yeah. No, that's.
Is there anything that we should have talked about today that I haven't touched on that you would like to read?
We probably shouldn't talk politics because that would get us both into trouble. No, but I will make reference again. I'll change hats if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
What's the next one?
Now you won't have even heard of this rock band Midnight Oil.
Midnight Oil, no.
No. Well, you see, Midnight Oil is an 80s, 90s rock band in Australia, but they have a very strong soul. And they represent a lot of things. Some of them are political, and some of them are more just life in general, sustainability, and anti-nuclear and things like that. But you know what the coolest thing about this band is, right? And that is their music, right? So I brought some music in, even though we don't have a record player here. Yeah, Hal. But this year is vinyl directly from 1984. I want to say that is bit of Power and the Passion, U.S. Forces, Short Memory.
Yeah, such a cool artwork. Yeah, it says here Midnight Oil.
And some more Armistice Day, and
oh wow,
a lot of their music, as I say, borders on political statements. But you know what? It's just cool music. That's what it is, right? And
what does it sound like? Is it like a jazzy type?
Nah, it's not jazzy. It's rock, but not heavy rock. Australian rock is how I would describe it. So
interesting.
Yeah.
See, this one has some cool artwork. This looks like a Winston Churchill. Yeah, it's so cool.
But again, just like the retro gaming, I love my original music, and I listen to a piece of vinyl at home. And
this has one of the up to three. Is it like 4 tracks?
Yeah,
Progress, Hercules, Blossom and Blood, and Pictures. Wow, Species Decree, Diseases, Midnight.
That's it. And yeah, my music foundation came from this band. I'd even slept out to get Midnight Oil tickets. And I've driven from Melbourne to Canberra with my friends to go to a Midnight Oil concert, and nothing to do with cybersecurity. But again, a record can't be hacked.
Is that right?
A CD can't be hacked. This here is the original before Spotify existed.
Yep. Do you play any instrument?
No. My daughter plays the violin. My wife plays the piano. But
You think out with your electronics. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, then Trevor, really, this is so cool. We'll have a frozen tradition in this podcast where we do ask 2 questions. Your first question is, um, what's one quote or core principle you live by in life, business, and career?
It does get used a bit, but I do like Gandhi, be the change that you want to see. And
Why is that?
well, I think it's bringing things into your own control, and you if if I want to achieve something in work or at home or whatever, I'm the person who needs to action it. If I want my daughter to put her shoes on the shoe rack, I got to lead by example. I can't just be telling her to put her shoes on the shoe rack and leave mine, in the lounge. So be the change that you want to see.
It's interesting. That's the images. You just made an example here with your daughter. Just remind me of my father. Each time I sort of reflect on his parenting style, I tend to realize that my father actually never really sit us down to tell us stuff. Oh, you must do this, you cannot do that. Oh, you have to go to this school or study this, not that. He's more of a person who lead with actions all the time.
Yeah.
And as a result, I don't know, it's even psychologically, it has some powerful impact on us, because all he has to do is just make a movement or do some gesture, and you know that, oh, this is not the right thing for you to do. And then you will sort of assume your posture all the time. The only time where I know that my dad would sit down, or you would have an issue with him, is when you are faltering around and you are not taking your spiritual life serious. That's the only time. Apart from that, just be you. Yeah.
No, I agree. Leading with action.
Yes.
In work, home, anywhere. Like me making a statement that I want to own Mortal Kombat for every generation of gaming console. The more I said that to myself, the more committed I was to achieving it. And it's true in work as well. If I make a motherhood statement about what I want to achieve at work, and I constantly remind myself that that's what I'm doing, then inevitably I'll do it.
Yeah.
But if you only say it to yourself once, then you often don't have the conviction to follow through with it. So you got to believe whatever it is you want to achieve, whether it's fun or whether it's serious, and you got to keep reminding yourself of that vision.
Wow, it's so proper. Thank you for that. Now, second question is, what's one question you are currently seeking an answer for, and you are saying you haven't still yet found that?
I hate to bring it back to Mortal Kombat, but that mood, they were about to release Mortal Kombat 2 as a movie in a month or two from now.
Oh, is that the next week?
Oh, so
It's next week. I saw the ad recently. Yeah.
Is there a question in there? When is Mortal Kombat 2 going to be released? And I found the answer.
Yes.
So, but no, seriously, have I got a question?
Or a certain problem you want solved. Yes.
So somebody that both you and I know in our work circle passed away recently. Yes, and that was a very unfortunate thing to happen. So the question that I ask myself, and it's not a retirement question, it's a how do you make the most out of life without putting yourself under pressure
Yeah.
that drives your health. You know, um, down. So the question is, how do you balance all of the stresses, um, the responsibilities of life, um, and still maintain the time to look after yourself? And for me, looking after myself is playing with my retro computers and doing other things like that at home. So I'm constantly seeking a work-life balance that is sustainable.
Wow. Are you making any, do you make any change recent around that you are happy with, or you still, it's still a struggle that you are trying to find?
I think it's kind of like a sine wave, you know. So sometimes, you've got the positive energy and you've got the time to look after yourself, and sometimes you're dragged into, the responsibilities of life, and you need to kind of pull yourself out of it. So, I think it's a constant cycle, Alan. You've got to try to find a way to reduce the magnitude of the peaks and troughs. So you can live balanced. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Trevor. This is so much fun. Would learn a lot about the journey, but most importantly, I guess for me, what a key takeaway is that um have clarity, but most importantly, just go on this journey. Enjoy every moment of it, and lean onto your God-given talent and skills, and never forget to just be yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. The more you're yourself, the more you're going to be successful. Because if you try to be something you're not, or try to satisfy somebody other than yourself, then you're probably not going to um, yeah enjoy life as much as if you're just true to yourself.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.